What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another phenomenal episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I say phenomenal because it's the only word that describes our podcast accurately. I am your host, Rexxx Ruger 2.0.
And I'm your other host, Frank Bengz, back with another episode.
Yeah. And as people can see, and I hope it tugs at their heartstrings, man, to see the picture here that we're sharing with people of Irish Micky Ward and the late, great. I mean, I got posters up. He's on the two fight posters that flank both sides of me. Gatti Ward, Gatti De La Hoya, one of my favorite all-time fighters, the late, great Arturo Gatti. Nobody fucking better as far as, like, true fucking warriors. Both of these guys, man. I'll say it now, man. I'll go on record of being an upstate New Yorker and still feeling like I have carte blanche to say Irish Micky Ward is the toughest bastard in fucking Massachusetts. Boom. On record.
Well, respectfully, I can't really think of anybody else.
No, there's nobody else. No. And
Gatti? Them Boston dudes are weak.
And we're here celebrating because their last fight of the trilogy was 2003. So it's been 20 years since these guys got it on and went 30 rounds over three fights, man, for nothing. For nothing.
You said you wanted an outlandish quote. So here you go. You Boston guys are weak.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Hashtag New York. I don't think anybody would argue.
Fuck the TD Garden. You just copied what we got, the Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. You can drop your R's all you want. Head to your car and get the fuck out of here. Yeah. These guys fucking started their trilogy. And Arturo Gatti, by the way, finished his career at 40-9, 31 knockouts. Irish Micky Ward gets a movie made about him starring Mark Wahlberg, but with a record of 38-13 in his fucking career. God bless him.
I don't think the movie had anything to do with him having an illustrious career. Just that he was a guy who went through a lot of hardships and he had that dog in him.
And he had a little bit of a crazy family. I think he would admit that. They portrayed that in the movie. His brother Dickie was crazy that was training him. I mean, smoking crack and running around. You can't find him to get him in the gym. I mean, like that's just crazy. But a date that this should be ingrained in boxing fans, etched into their minds, May 18th, 2002, particularly round 9, but the whole fucking fight, though, man, that's when history really took place, man. Gatti Ward won, a fucking classic for the ages, without a doubt.
Mick, I'm just going to shout out Mick right now. Listen, Mick, when I kicked your drink over at the Hall of Fame, if you wanted to round off, man, we could have rounded off. It was nothing, man.
He had his chance. Yeah, he had his fucking chance.
No, I'm kidding. Nothing but love for Irish Micky Ward, man.
Absolutely nothing but love because he loves the fans when he shows up.
He was a great guy to meet, too. Very humble, very nice. You know what I mean? Took all the pictures we wanted. Like I said, I kicked over the drink. He didn't even get mad.
He's a guy that understands what Hall of Fame weekend is all about.
Yeah. He's
accessible to the fans.
He shows up to show love.
Yeah. So May 18th, 2002, I mean, if you haven't seen that fight, if you haven't watched round 9, if you don't know about round 9, it was also Ring Magazine Fight of the Year, as was their third fight. Micky Ward wins the first one in a majority decision, dude. One judge fucking had it a fucking draw. Arturo Gatti went down late in the fight off a fucking off a left hook to the fucking liver that just fucking shut him down. Closed for business. Pull the shade.
I think I've seen most of the first fight on playback, but I haven't seen the second or the third fight. I'm gonna have to go check those out later.
Yeah, Gatti won both of those via unanimous decisions, but the third one was particularly good. I mean, you know what you're gonna get with these guys. Cornermen better have a good cut, man. Better have the end swell ready. If these guys ain't swollen and bleeding, dude, these guys haven't been in a fight.
We just brought this one up the other night, but I'm gonna bring it up again. This picture right here could be recreated by Abel Ramos and Cody Crowley. They fought the same exact fight, dude.
Yeah, shout out to Abel Ramos. Yeah.
Threw a zillion punches at each other. Nobody went down. Fighting for no belt, just an eliminator type deal.
And if people haven't watched the documentary Legendary Nights, Gatti and Ward, and watch that hour and 20-minute documentary, man. Do yourself a service if you're a fan of these guys or just boxing in general, man, and just fucking like see the dog in these guys, man. I mean, Irish Micky Ward is telling his trainer Dickie, man, you're not going to stop the fucking fight. No way. I'd rather go out there and get knocked the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, these guys don't stop.
I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up because I mean, obviously everybody knows, but you mentioned to start the episode the late great Arturo Gatti. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact that his death kind of had a lot of swirling questions about it.
He was murdered.
Yeah, I'd like to believe. I think I believe that too, man. I think he was murdered.
His family had the body exhumed, and they did an autopsy. His longtime manager and friend, Pat Lynch, fucking hired 2 independent investigators who ruled that it looked like murder. He had blunt trauma to the back of his head, but then somebody else said that he had been fighting in public with his wife the night before, and a passerby intervened and got in a scuffle with Gatti. What fucking passerby, man? Dude, I don't want to be that passerby where I'm stopping a fight and I got to square up with an angry Arturo Gatti.
Hey, listen, man, I don't care who the 2 guys are fighting. I'm going to sound like that dude from Detroit. Ain't nothing we can do about it, man.
Yeah, you know what we can do about it, man. Well, no, I understand the guy. I understand the guy stepping in if Gatti is manhandling his woman, but I mean,
no, I'm gonna just let him do his thing, man. Keep my focus forward. Keep walking.
Well, here's a couple interesting things. That last fight that we're celebrating 20 years of here in June 2003. That was another unanimous decision won by Gatti, dude. Again, Ring Magazine Fight of the Year. So fight 1 and 3 for Fight of the Year. Gatti broke his hand and fought several rounds of that fight one-handed, fighting off a guy like Micky Ward. Broke his hand on Micky Ward's hip, throwing a body shot. Got him on the hip bone. Which he had already had surgically repaired, I believe, 2 other times previous.
And he still managed to fight through the pain and get that win, man.
Yeah, and of course, my other favorite boxer, who I just got done watching the HBO documentary, The Golden Boy, phenomenal that they just put out, man. So befitting of Oscar De La Hoya's career, man. But he said, and he's been in there with the best, man. He said, is still on record as saying Gatti hit him harder than anybody. And I've heard that from a lot of guys in sparring, dude. Man, Gatti could fucking swat, dude, for sure, dude.
And on top of that, man, Gatti was just one of them guys, man. Just one of them guys, man. Just like it's the perfect thing we're talking about Gatti and Ward because they're both that guy. Like, it doesn't matter what title's on the line or if nothing's on the line or it doesn't even matter. Dude, these 2 dudes would fight each other at the bar for 10 rounds.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was nothing. Oh yeah, there was nothing at stake for these 30 rounds except the title of Blood and Guts Warrior. That's it.
They're just tough sons of bitches, man. There's not much you can say about it.
Yeah, there's no way in hell, man, that these guys are going to lay down for anybody. And I'll go on record saying, and somebody is more than welcome to debate this in the comment section, man. That Gatti, man, easily one of the top 3 fucking best fucking chins of all time, dude.
I mean. Yeah,
if I were hard pressed to think about it, man, I could probably think of another. I mean, Ward himself, man, would certainly crack a top 10 list, man. Another guy with a good beard. I mean, these are not guys that you can drop on their ass fucking very easily.
No,
not at all, man. Extremely fucking tough dudes, man.
No,
I mean, that's high praise.
You know what's crazy, man? I hate to even say this because this is gonna sound fucking crazy, dude. But I really think, and be mad if you want, dude, I really think, like, how can we knock anybody's beard in the if we're talking top 10 beards right now, Floyd has got to be in there. Floyd's in the conversation.
Yeah, he is.
He got hit with some shots, boy.
Yeah.
Shane Mosley fucking wobbled shit out of him, and he still never left his feet. Floyd,
I don't think
has Floyd ever been down in his whole career? Never been down.
Yeah. I don't know if he has or not. Yeah, I guess not. I mean.
And I've seen him get hit hard, man.
I don't know if Arturo hit him very hard because I remember him really putting a clinic on fucking poor Arturo.
Well, that was just he was the younger man. The skill, just like I was talking about Usyk the other night, man. The skill level for Floyd was just leaps and bounds ahead of everybody.
And speaking of the younger man, Arturo Gatti Jr. out there fucking doing his thing right now. 14 years old. Shout out to him, man. Looks like he's taking the torch from dad.
Yeah, listen, man. I know what we said about what happened to your pops, man. But if we can get you on the podcast, man, we'd love to have you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Dude, you're carrying the Gatti name. I mean, that means something in fucking boxing, dude. I mean, like, you're looking right there, man. For people that are watching, in that thumbnail right there, two of the fucking hardest bastards there ever was, man. Ever. Right there. In one fucking picture, man. That's two guys right there, man, that are a couple of mean motor scooters. You ain't putting those guys down.
Just two guys that would literally, like I said, would give their all fight, barroom fight. Just two guys that go in there and get. So like you see those street beef fights on TikTok. I'd love to see a Gatti fucking street beef just fighting some dude in a fucking backyard.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah,
I could see him no matter what, dude. No matter what ounce glove you're using or bare knuckle, I just see Gatti and Ward likewise just being bad man, dude. Just like a bad man.
Yeah, like I could have seen these guys, man, like if it was around, like when they first retired, man, like them doing like the bare knuckle league or something like that, like just to keep fighting.
Just tough sons of bitches, man, who could really just at any level.
Yeah, I guess initially I guess sources say Gatti's wife was initially charged because they were on vacation down in Brazil, and she was of Brazilian descent, his wife. And apparently she was initially arrested and charged, but they were fucking dropped. So, I don't know. Sounds like some fucking shenanigans.
I mean...
But the people closest to him said that he wasn't at that point in his life, man. And he did it. He was wild outside of the ring, man. He was wild outside of the ring. He definitely fucking liked the nightlife, man. But still... people said he had all the reasons.
Wild and suicide, man, are
vastly different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for people that are looking for something to do this week, man, of course, we just had an episode on August 26th, I think Eastern Standard Time. They're anticipating the ring walks for Usyk and Dubois. About 5:00 p.m. Eastern time, because it's obviously over in Poland. So for people trying to figure out that time difference, it looks like the card itself starts at like 2 p.m. Eastern time, but they're anticipating them about 5:00 p.m.
This might sound from a podcaster who talks boxing, but what's the date on that again?
August 26th.
August 26th.
Yeah, so that's Saturday. Yeah. But for people that don't want to chime in and fucking get the pay-per-view, there's also at 10:30 Eastern time on ESPN a good doubleheader of the triumphant return of Big Baby Jared Anderson, who looked real shitty against Charles Martin in his last fight and was wobbled.
Martin, though, Charles Martin though is a great journeyman.
Yeah, Prince
he's
Charles.
Not a guy. He's not a guy you post for your resume. You know what I mean? He's a great.
I'm pretty sure he'd be fucking super insulted that you called him a journeyman, man.
I mean,
he'd be tight about that, dude. You wouldn't say that to his fucking face. He's still a contender in his mind.
He sort of is, all right.
I'm not saying shit.
I mean,
hell no.
I mean, I'm not trying to. I'm not
you
trying to bash Charles Martin here. Listen, man, no. This is not a Charles Martin beating
roast
or anything. Yeah. I'm not trying to roast Charles Martin here.
Well, Jared Anderson, though, man, if he's going to be touted as the next big thing on the heavyweight scene, man, he's fighting Andrea Rudenko, who kind of is an older guy, who's that journeyman guy that you're talking about, 35-6, 21 KOs. A tough guy, but certainly there to be beaten. And then the real fucking fight is the co-fucking feature, Efe Ajagba versus Zan Kazabutski. That's going to be a good one, dude.
F.A. Ajagba, who fought in our backyard at the Turning Stone Casino in Verona, New York.
Yeah. And I want to publicly apologize to FA for us not being there, man. I don't know what the fuck went on, man, because I really flirted with the idea of going to that fight, man. But if he continues to come back there and fight, if he's going to continue to come to our casino and fight, I'll be there.
I remember I was actually working at Joe DeHaan's at the time. But outside of Joe DeHaan's, they got a digital sign that like shows shit. And I remember them showing like the F.A. Ajagba picture and all that for the fight. And I was like, I need to go to that. And then I just didn't.
It's a big deal him coming here. Yeah. I'm not going to miss no more. I'm not going to miss no more live boxing at the Turning Stone. I already made up my mind. I've got the money at this point in my life. It's not that much to go there, dude. And I have a podcast, man. So I may be able to go there for nothing or next to nothing.
Right.
I should be able to, man, because I'll put shine on it if I go there. But Jared Anderson, Andrea Rudenko, that is going to be a good one. But F.A. Ajagba versus Zan Kazabutsky is going to be a fucking barn burner right there. That's going to be some fireworks, man. Because all Kazabutsky does is knock people out, man. I'm a little worried for Ajagba, dude. He better have his A game. And the one fight that I won't get to see because they're only fucking televising the two, but the one I really would have liked to have seen, and I'll have to see if there's a way I can watch it on my fucking phone somewhere, is Shushu Carrington. Gotta watch my man Bruce Carrington. Shout out to another New York guy. Shushu. I love Shushu, man. Yeah. I'll be reaching out to him soon, man. As soon as Facebook lifts this ridiculous ban on me and I can message people. He's a guest I'm hunting down. He's very social. He seems very fan friendly, and I love his fighting style.
Always, whatever chance I get, I'm gonna hop on here real quick and say fuck Zuck.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right. That should be a hashtag going around the world.
Zuck the cuck.
Yeah. But Shushu Carrington, man, watch out for him, man. Best up-and-coming featherweight there is right now, man. He's fighting a guy named Angel Antonio Contreras. That sounds dangerous, man, fighting a Hispanic guy with 3 names like that, man. But hopefully Shushu will come through. Fingers crossed for him, man.
Right.
Also, tomorrow night, fucking Muhammad Ali's grandson, Nico Ali Walsh, he's fighting on that card, too. See, these are all ones that ain't going to get televised, but they got to be out there in internet land and watched somewhere.
I feel like I've seen that he's pretty decent too.
Very.
Yeah, Ali's son. That's Nico
Layla Ali Walsh.
Son. That's Layla Ali's son, right?
Yeah. I don't know if it's her son or if it's this or if it's I don't want to say for sure, man, but that's going to be a good fucking doubleheader on ESPN. I only wish they would have squeezed in the Shushu Carrington fight. That would have made it a beautiful night, but they're starting it at 10:30 at night, so they can only give us 2.
I know I spelled her name differently, but Layla Ali is one of the reasons why I wanted to name Layla.
Yeah. Although I hate to say it, not the sweetest lady at the Hall of Fame this past year.
No, but still a badass chick, and she's like pretty hot.
Yeah.
Shout out Layla Ali, man.
Yeah, she's definitely hot. And a damn good fighter.
My daughter is somewhat named after you.
Yeah. But back to the Gatti Ward fights, though, man. I mean, it's something that I hope boxing fans really understand, like the fucking, like the, the gravitas of all of it. You know what I mean? Like just how special what these guys did for 30 rounds actually is. You know?
Yeah, I mean, and just like we touched on before, because it wasn't for anything. It was just 2 guys going to war to just go to war for our entertainment.
Yeah, and man, did they go to war?
They weren't winning hardware. They were just going to war to do it.
I implore anybody that's watching this who wants to fucking to find like where their diving board is, potentially into harnessing a love for boxing. How do I get into it?
I wish I was born early enough to have watched this fight so I could give you some real analysis on what I thought the fights were, but
well, it's criminal. You must go back and watch it, man. You got to at least watch the first fight. I mean,
I was either unborn or was too young to even know what boxing was.
Yeah, you were 8.
Right.
Yeah. You were 8. But I don't know many 8-year-olds that are going to sit down and watch a boxing match or understand what they're watching, though, and be able to wrap their head around while you're watching a fucking one for the ages. I mean,
right.
And it was one for the ages, man. Jim Lampley can't even talk. The great HBO voice, Jim Lampley, can't even talk about round 9 without fucking welling up with tears.
Yeah, man. You can't even bring that up without me also giving a shout out to the old HBO team, man. Emmanuel Stewart and Larry Lee and Letterman.
Larry Merchant.
Yeah, I said Merchant. And Keller. Max Keller.
Yeah, Max Kellerman. Yeah, you got to give it up for Max Kellerman. Your audio was getting a little muddled there, but I figured that's what you were saying, man. Max Kellerman. Oh, yeah, dude, I miss HBO boxing. The Showtime team, Mauro Ranallo, Al Bernstein, Abner Maris, who's obviously stepped in for Paulie Malignaggi, who I did like more. But, they're doing their thing over there, too.
I don't like who's the guy that interviews in the ring? I don't like him.
Jim Gray.
As much as I don't like him as much as I like Larry Merchant.
I definitely like Larry Merchant coming up to the ring, man, a little tipsy. He's knocked back a few while he's been calling the fucking fight. You know what I mean? He's kind of a little loose, man. He's ready to fight Floyd Mayweather and knock him on his ass. I like him. He's a little irreverent.
Right.
Of course, I think it ultimately cost him his job.
And I feel like wasn't Larry Merchant a boxer? So I feel like he knows a little about the sport and all that.
I don't know if he was ever a pro. I don't know if he was ever a pro fighter, or if he's just been in the journalism fucking end of covering boxing. But yeah, I implore people though, as I said earlier, if you're looking for a jumping off point to get yourself jump started and kick started and invigorated about boxing, watch Gatti Ward 1. May 18th, 2002. People should remember where they were. And Jim Lampley says it best. The people that packed in there that night, that just thought they were seeing a couple of guys who were above average fighters, man, didn't realize they were going to see something as special as they did that night.
Right?
They had no idea.
Of the greatest fights of all time.
They had no idea, man. And they had no idea the witness. And the great Emmanuel Stewart, who you just mentioned, man, fucking said, round of the year, he's like, that should be the round of the century. Round 9. Round of the century.
Man, Emmanuel Stewart, man. What a legend.
He's seen it all. Yeah, he's seen it all. If he's saying that's the greatest round of boxing he's ever seen in fucking forever. You're looking at two guys here, man, who are just content at just fucking.
You know what's crazy, man?
Hold on, your audio's going into nightmare mode.
Am I in here?
Now you're in here. I can hear your audio, yeah.
All right. I forget where I was fucking going with that now. Oh, yeah. No.
Gatti had a broken fucking hand. God damn, Gatti had a broken hand.
I can't imagine not knowing the commentators. And like you're talking about Emmanuel Stewart, man. It's just those guys. I don't know, man. There's something about them talking to me about the fight.
Yeah. Well, you're getting expert analysis.
I mean, rest in peace, Stuart Scott, man. The GOAT.
Yeah. Also, rest in peace, Emmanuel Stewart. He's no longer with us. Man, he passed away.
Yep.
We still got Larry Merchant. I mean, he looks like hell, but God bless him. He's hanging in there.
Those guys aren't involved in talking sports no more, or boxing, right?
I don't know. I guess
if people
are curious.
I can't say I've sought out a Larry Merchant podcast or tried to find out what he's doing, but
it's an absolute waste if obviously Max Kellerman is doing stuff with ESPN and doing quite well. But it'd be a shame if Jim Lampley wasn't doing something because he's got such a golden, iconic voice. But I'm sure he's also done well enough where he could step away. I mean, he was doing HBO boxing for years.
Yeah, dude, Lampley's a GOAT.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's great in that Legendary Nights documentary about Gatti and Ward because he gets so emotional just talking about that fight. You can really see the passion.
They were still obviously they were still commentating well into the time where I wasn't 8 and I was watching boxing, and
Right.
most of the legendary fights that I can remember watching, or iconic fights for my time, were those are the voices that I heard calling.
Yeah. And to get away from the voices for a minute, though, I can't buy into the fact that I'm looking at the stats here. 2009, Arturo Gatti fucking dies in Brazil, 37 years old. I don't know,
Dude,
man.
it was in 2009.
Yeah, he died back in 2009, man. Like, there's been like fucking Dateline specials and stuff done on it or whatever, man. But he was down in Brazil.
It was that long ago. I didn't think it was that long ago. Like,
But
I knew it was quite a few years ago, but I didn't think it was 2009.
His son was only 10 months old, man. The 14-year-old son that we're talking about that's currently trying to become a boxer was 10 months old. He had everything to live for. I do believe that, dude. You just had a son, a junior in your life. I don't see it. I don't see a suicide in this man's future,
Well,
dude.
As two men who are both fathers, we've been a father with a 10-month-old baby and known what that joy feels like. And like, I couldn't imagine being depressed when my firstborn child was 10 months old. I was like at a glowing time in my life. Like, I felt great.
Yeah. And I think it was a pretty poignant moment when Arturo Gatti was put into the Boxing Hall of Fame. When his manager, Pat Lynch, got up there and spoke on his behalf, he said, you know, right, in reference to whether this was a murder or suicide, Arturo Gatti was never the type of guy to he never quit in the ring. He would never quit on life. He just didn't quit.
And that, honestly, like the fight we're talking about, man, he was knocked down in that fight, and they, you know, he wouldn't have copped out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In round 9, he did take the dreaded Irish Micky Ward liver shot, man. And he went down, and you see the anguish and pain on his face, dude, man. He did nothing to put on a brave front, dude, at all. He was wincing, grimacing, fucking squeezing his fucking eyes. He was in fucking pain. He got touched to the liver, man. And he got back up. And Micky Ward even said, like, years later, I wasn't surprised he got back up. I've dropped tons of dudes with that shot, man, but I knew he'd get back up. That motherfucker's getting back up.
Yeah.
He ain't staying down off that shot. A la Ryan Garcia, who gets scraped in the fucking rib cage and goes down. It looked like somebody fucking just took like a dagger and plunged it into Arturo Gatti's fucking liver. The shot was just so fucking precise and quick. Tapped him right down there, dude. Like a gunshot. I mean, what do you do with a guy who fucking hits you like that? I mean, very much you can do. I mean, but, you know, hey, Arturo Gatti Jr., I wish him all the fucking success in the world, man. I mean, it's great if he's going to take the torch from his fucking father, man. I think it's absolutely wonderful, man. Go, rumble, young man, rumble, as the great Cassius Clay, a la our AKA Muhammad Ali would say. And I think for sure my man is going to fucking, come on, man. If he's got a fucking, one iota of the heart and chutzpah and fucking jaw and grit and intestinal fortitude of his old man, fucking forget about it, man. Forget about it. I mean, no question about it, dude. You know, you're looking at two of the toughest bastards of all time, man. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Two of the toughest bastards. And Arturo Gatti Jr. will probably be a tough bastard himself. So you go, young man. Go.
Yeah,
do your thing. I'm going to be bringing up my
I hope we do end up
doing up his thing.
I hope we do end up seeing Arturo Gatti Jr. as a pro fighter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Hopefully he's not meeting Moose anywhere down the road. I think there'll be different weight classes.
Well, they'll probably be like, it'll be like Usyk and Dubois fighting. Like, they'll be like way older.
Maybe.
It'll be like way older than him, you know? If he's 14 and Moose is 2.
Yeah.
The 12-year.
Well, I just want I just want to implore people to please go back and watch these fights. Keep the spirit of these fights alive, man. Particularly recommend fucking Fight 1, but you can dive into any of them, dude, man. But if you haven't seen Fight 1, I said this on a boxing forum that I belong to on Facebook the other day. People threw out, like, you know, you're not a true boxing fan if you haven't ... And people were throwing comments out there. And I said, haven't seen Gatti Ward fucking 1, watched it a million times, you know,
Right.
fucking know round 9 like the back of your hand. I mean, it's probably the single greatest thing I've ever seen happen in between those fucking ropes. And neither one of these guys can make the claim that they were the greatest boxer of all time, man, but they were two warriors. And that almost even transcends just being a boxer. It's just like we talked about the other night, Mike Tyson biting Evander Holyfield's ear. He goes into warrior mode in a fucking fight. He don't fucking think, hey, this is wrong. He thinks, I'm going to fucking fight.
Oh no, I think my favorite fight though that I've personally seen in my time was Pacquiao Mayweather.
Yeah, that was a good one. That could have been way better, man, if Pac-Man didn't have a bad shoulder.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like he was still really in that fight. I feel like the cards weren't the way I thought they were. I don't think Pacquiao necessarily won the fight. I just think it was closer than it ended up being.
Wow, there's a shock, man. The scores weren't what we thought. Oh my God, that hardly ever never happens.
It just Floyd was definitely winning, and he was getting his shots off. But I felt like Pacquiao was still pressing the action, and Floyd was just kind of hanging back, running around.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely have an episode fucking breaking down some of Floyd's fucking fights. Believe me, man. Like, we don't want to tip off too much. We've got fights of Floyd's that we're critical of.
I mean, that's classic Floyd. Get on your bicycle and ride around, and hopefully the guy doesn't knock me out.
I'm going to tell Floyd up front right here on this podcast, I'm going to be taking a very close look and going back into the annals of history and checking out some of the fights that I think are a little dubious and really putting them under the microscope. I was checking out Jose Luis Castillo and him the other night, really, really making sure. I know there's a lot of hoopla that he lost against Jose Luis Castillo, man, but I really want to be sure. You know what I mean? It really comes down to if you're going to call out a guy for losing the fight, even the Oscar fight. Watched it a bunch of times, scored for Oscar, man, but I don't know. Then you get Floyd's fucking supporters who are on there like, everyone's always got to hate on Floyd and try to fucking say he lost a fucking fight somewhere along the line. They can't just accept that he's undefeated.
I mean, well, when you got multiple fights that are in question, he wasn't the kind of guy to run it back with anybody.
Yeah. Right. And now that ties in perfectly to these two guys who ran it back 3 times. Hey, you want to fight for absolutely nothing at stake? Sure. Hey, you want to do it again? Sure. Hey, you want to do it a fucking 3rd time? Sure. Yeah. Right. Let's punch each other's fucking face in again for another fucking 10 rounds. But by then,
for absolutely no hardware or no anything.
But by that, after that first fight, people are just like, yeah, fuck yeah, I want to see it again. And then, fuck yeah, I want to see it again. Because as soon as Gatti comes back and wins the second fight, you know, then instantly people are like, okay, I smell trilogy. You both got to win. It was imperative that Ward won that first one.
Right.
And that fight was nip and tuck fucking close. The Letterman card, shout out to the Letterman card, man. He had it fucking close, man. I forgot what his card finished. I think he had Micky Ward fucking winning, though. At the very least, he had it a draw. I mean, very nip and tuck and tough rounds to score. I mean, it was literally like watching a Rocky movie. It looked like a fight that was choreographed and scripted. It's that fucking good. You know, like you're like, oh, shit, one guy's out on his feet. Oh, shit, here he comes back now. Now this guy's out on his fucking feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very nip and tuck, man. But, I mean, yeah, I just hope people will always go back and keep these guys' fucking spirit alive. I mean, Micky Ward's still here with us. And as we said, he's gracious as fuck at the Hall of Fame weekends. Fan accessible, loves the fans, loves to talk about the fucking fights, man. I mean, you know, he gets it. You know, blue collar guy who knows that the fans put him in the position that he's in. And I think if Arturo Gatti were around and could enjoy this kind of stuff, he'd be the exact same way. He knows that the true fight fans appreciate the shit. I mean, I guess I just have to say that, people going back and watching these fights, it keeps the spirit alive, right or wrong. I mean, that's really what it's all about. I mean,
Yeah,
it's really about keeping the spirit of these two guys alive, man. And, rest in peace to a true warrior, Arturo Gatti.
yeah, it
Are you back in
it
here?
definitely does. I'm in here.
Yeah. Well, I think we've given these guys their fucking flowers, man. I think we've fucking showered them with love and adoration, man. Like, this was a special episode to do, man. I think maybe it might be time to maybe end this with that great quote about toughness, that we know and love.
You think it's time for me to quote? You think it's time for me to quote our great American poet?
Who is our great American poet, by the way?
Gary Busey.
Yeah, that he is. That he is. If you haven't checked out his book, Buseyisms, he's got one for everything. And he narrates his own audiobook, too. Go ahead. Please, fucking quote the great Gary Busey.
And with that being said, folks, I can go 15 seconds with anything. There it is.
15 seconds with anything. Wait a minute. A tiger?
I said anything.
A chimpanzee?
Anything.
Michael Clark Duncan?
Rest in peace.
Rest in
But
peace.
anything.
Yeah. And on that note, we will wrap this up with a big bazang.